Welcome to FFC Top 3, a show where we FFC hosts count things down from 3 to number 1. Thank you for joining us this week. If you have a suggestion, hit us up in the normal places. Be sure to drop us a note on Twitter and Discord, at Gmail, at our Gmail email address, focusfirechat@gmail.com, or even on our weekly polls to decide not only top 3, but also what our FFC topic is going to be. This week, our top 3, we are discussing our favorite Destiny weapons. This is Destiny 1 and 2, so anything is fair game, exotics, legendaries, even if you're a fan of the blues, or even if you're a fan of that, what was the name of the white gun that we got at the beginning of D2? It's like, wow, I still have it.
I was about to say, Kvostov? I still have it in my vault.
Kvostov was D1.
No, yeah, Kvostov was D1.
Yeah. The pistol you mean.
Yeah, the hand cannon you get.
Yeah.
I still have it too. Give me 1 second.
The
Traveler's Chosen.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Yeah, that's all fair game for this. So any weapon that is something that you enjoy. Blue, I'm making you go first this week. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is actually going to be similar to, I think it was last week, I can't remember, but it's Icebreaker. That was seriously one of my staple weapons in D1, just simply because I just enjoyed the mechanics of it. And for PvE in D1, I was much more like a sniper feel to it, which I'll probably comment a little bit because a couple of my other favorites tend to be long range weapons. I'm predominantly more of a PvE player, so I kind of tend to have that approach. But yeah, Icebreaker was just, it made doing stuff solo a lot easier because you could actually and there was a gun called Patience and Time as well, but it actually made patience a viable strategy with things. And I really appreciated it. Like, I think that was a really, really fun weapon or fun gun to run around with. I actually wish that we had that, or had a similar mechanical weapon like that back.
Right. I get that. Just snipers are not in the same places they were.
No, they're not. Well, and that kind of goes to that conversation Beard and I were having before we started with regards to the versatility of bows. I think that's why, for me at least, that's why I think bows are
kind of stepped up.
Well, I think that's why I've always kind of, as soon as they released the bow archetype, I kind of gravitated towards it. And I think that's why, is because it does a really good job of bringing the feel of a sniper back without sacrificing. Because D2 to me definitely feels a lot much more CQC, like close quarter combat. Like it's much more in your face than I felt like in D1. And I don't know, that might just be me.
I think as far as PvP goes, it's certainly
PvP, like I know there's a lot of players, like really good players, like top tier, more closer to the top tier, that can pull off snipers in PvP, but predominantly I think the most range I've seen is usually scouts. Like I don't see much, and even that is kind of rare. It's much more like pulse rifles and bows and stuff like that, and at least at the tiers that I'm playing at.
Snipers are slowly coming back into the meta as far as PvP goes.
It just depends on the type that you're shooting to.
That and PC, there are a lot more snipers on PC than there are console right now.
Yep.
Flinch is a major issue, but it's starting to creep back into PS4 meta, at least. Beard, what's your number 3?
Number 3 has to get on the list somewhere because it just means that much to me, but Thunderlord.
Really?
It's not going to be my number 1, I think, because I think that other weapons have definitely surpassed it. But Thunderlord has still remained to be one of my absolute favorite weapons of all time. Just because of the engagement that it kind of has It can be an ad clearer. It can be a boss clearer. It can be a versatile piece of equipment that can fit many different styles of shooting or engagement. And it's pretty much the thing that ran me through most of Crota back in the day, because that's really when it came out.
Right.
Having it in D2 has been awesome. The fact that they did bring it back, and the fact that they did bring LMGs back, has been amazing for me, at least.
Yeah.
Mostly just because I've been having a ton of fun with them. But they just feel right. They feel a lot more powerful than they used to, which I know has been a complaint about them in some cases. The range on them. Yep. But they've always been good ad clearers, and they've always been those weapons that I tend to keep in the heavy slot or otherwise. But yeah, Thunderlord's got to go up there. But like I said, there's a couple others that have now started to kind of wean their way in terms of usefulness.
Right.
But also in terms of like story and what's behind it. I think that's another reason it's gotta get on there somewhere.
Nice. I have both Thunderlord and Hammerhead both in my heavy slot, just on call all the time. Those two are too versatile. Hammerhead can take care of it if I need an exotic slot somewhere else.
Yep.
It's too nice. My number 3 is more of a troll weapon. I enjoy sidearms, and I enjoy running in Crucible with sidearms because there's nothing more satisfying than taking out a shotgunner with just a little pew-pew pistol. And so either it's kind of a tie for me. I'm going to break my own rules, and I'm going to say it's between Anonymous Autumn, which is the Crucible sidearm. I have a really nice roll on that, or Vestian Dynasty. Both are just so... In PvP, it's a great troll weapon to be like, no, I just outdid you. I just outplayed you with a sidearm. Because their sidearms aren't in as good a place as they used to be. Which, granted, they're never super high in the meta, but they're still useful in certain situations. The other thing is going into a strike and being like, I am only going to use a sidearm just to challenge yourself to play it differently. It's a lot of fun, and it's super, like, you feel really good about it at the end, especially if there's a lot of majors in the strike, because it's like, oh, I can take out this stuff and manage and deal with taking damage and stuff in the right ways with just a sidearm. So it's a good way to challenge yourself into something totally different.
Right.
So I enjoy it.
Well, they've always been surprisingly good to boot.
Right.
Like, they've never been
they're not
weapons
terrible.
No, they're far from awful. I always think back, of course, to the old days of the Wormwood.
Oh, right.
I used to use that thing all the stinking time, but I was one of those. But sidearms were always just those great. They were the traditional military feel for Destiny.
Yes,
because you would go with, or at least I would. I would start off with your usual like auto or something like that, especially after Kvashtov was released for exotic. And I would start to use that, and then I would bounce back to Wormwood or something else.
Oh yeah, Last Hope is really good, or Last Dance is a really good one too.
Well, I gotta say, Last Hope or Last Dance, both of them actually are super good, I think.
Right.
But yeah, like they have their niche that they fit into at this point now. They used to be very different playing in D1, but at least here in D2, the more I sit and talk about this, the more I'm like, man, I haven't done a weapon review in a long frickin' time.
Right.
What is wrong with me? Like, I used to do those all the time, and I know it's just funny you get me on this tangent with the sidearms, because one of the first videos I did, the first one I think I did was on Young Wolf's Howl versus Razelighter.
Oh, right.
And that was actually the first video I think I produced for Destiny, and it got like over 45,000 views. It was hysterical. And then the second one was on sidearms and how the sidearm meta was changing. I think it was in 2.6 or something like that. But that was such a fun video to put together. I could gush about sidearms, I think, in general, because like I said, they just fit so many different builds and workarounds and whatnot. But anyway, before I keep talking about this, like I said, I could go on for a while.
I just love how... So my clan goes in and we'll do private matches, and we will do random rolls, or we'll do picked rolls, where you'll put on the exact same type of weapon, say thorn and something else, or you do you can only use a sidearm.
Right.
It's so gratifying to take down some of the people who just rush at you and who are really good at shotgun meta, or really good at wave splitter meta. There are particular people that I'm just talking about with both of those. It's so gratifying to take them down with a sidearm because they don't use them often. So it's a fun one. Let's switch to number 2, though, Blue. You had Icebreaker. What's your number 2?
It's a toss-up between Mida and then... actually, I mean, it's pretty much scout rifles.
Okay.
Like with it's hard to do a particular one, and just because with random rolls and stuff like that, you can always have my preferred rolls are not necessarily based off meta. It's I'm very particular, or not particular. I'm very partial to Firefly is one of my favorite rolls.
PvE rolls.
Yeah, it's just to me, I just really like it. And then
but Hung
oh
Jury.
no, yeah, it's on there. Right. It's on there. That's one of the ones I'm gonna mention is Hung Jury. So but for me, what I was gonna say is Oxygen, Hung Jury, Nameless Midnight was up until I got Oxygen. I still have my original Nameless Midnight because I got it with the explosive rounds, and it just I don't. It's weird because there are some guns that, even though this is a 100% digital game, I don't know how to explain the sensation of a gun having a kick. But it just Nameless Midnight, and I can't remember if that was a static roll that I got or what, because it was back when we were doing Vanguard strikes. I think it was season 1 or 2.
There was either of those.
Oh, I think it might have been.
Roll,
I think. Oh my god, it had explosive rounds. It didn't have Firefly, which was the only thing.
That is still the best roll, though.
Oh my god,
it is so good.
God! I'll pull it out, and I have wasted so much resources keeping that thing relevant because it has no tears on it at all. It's just got the explosive rounds. It's such a basic weapon.
How fun!
Oh my god, it is so much fun. I love I did one of the snapshots on Nameless Midnight because of the Edgar Allan Poe connection.
Right.
And the deal with Nameless Midnight again was just it just felt like an actual scout rifle. It felt like what I would imagine. It felt like what Mida used to feel like in D1 for me. Right. And then then there's Hung Jury, and what I would argue is kind of the equivalent of Hung Jury in D2, Oxygen, which is just, if you haven't gotten that particular little scout rifle, I really recommend it. It's a ton of fun. But yeah, scout rifles are very, again, I play, usually I'm playing at a range when I play PvE, especially. I'm very methodical and slow when I actually go through something. Most of the time because I'm also getting distracted by different things. Because I don't hide the fact that I will just wander randomly around the map at stuff. But yeah, so yeah, it's. I mean, I'm hard pressed to say a particular scout rifle, but I think those 3 or 4, I can't remember how many I had there, but those would definitely be on my list.
Scouts, yeah, scouts are always pretty versatile.
Mm-hmm.
They are really nice. Beard, where's your number 2?
I'm going to be boring.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep with my exotic idea here.
Okay.
Mostly because I enjoy the idea of things being overpowered, even if they are in certain circumstances.
No.
Yeah, it's I'm into the power fantasy or something when it comes to this game.
Skull of a dire Ahamkara and our avoid warlock.
Yeah.
Boom boom helmet.
You know, it might
Boom boom helmet.
it might fit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might fit. Risk Runner.
Yeah.
It is such an OP little SMG that makes you feel like you are so in control of everything. And between me running Black Armory as often as I do, and how like underused it has been for certain circumstances, like especially with what we just got done with 0 Hour here. 0 Hour is like the epitome of utilizing that thing to its near fullest, I would say. Just about like the shanks are the heavy shanks aren't, unfortunately, but
mine are solar.
The other,
that's interesting.
Well, the things they hit you with,
right? The projectiles
are the projectiles are what
yeah.
matter in that regard. But yeah, if you get hit by one of the small shanks,
or the
then you're gonna or the snipers, which end up one-shotting you anyway. Then at that point you end up taking all the damage basically and pummeling out a ton more. But it's just such a good little SMG. And I hope that they kind of run this one a little bit more into D3, to be honest. I don't want to talk about like weapons that return and whatnot already in D3,
right.
But if any of them do, I would like for this one to come back. Again, it's very situational, especially with the way that the perk works out. But even in Crucible, if you get it to trigger, it's fun.
I run the Risk Runner. I do have it on my baby lock. And I have, right now I'm running with her on the Arc. And it's, that thing destroys.
There's a way to self-proc Risk Runner.
I might be accidentally doing that because I seem to remember it, like whenever I have it out, it just completely destroys things.
You have to hit the very edge of your grenade. And I can't remember which kind of grenade it is, but if you hit the very edge of your grenade, you won't take the damage, but you'll proc the shield, the overshield, and the output damage.
Nice.
I know some of my Crucible mates who do that on a regular basis, who during the Rivalry were quite the terror because they would constantly have that overshield proc because skip grenades that were everywhere, and any of the arc web. Oh, it's so bad. It's a good little weapon. It's definitely not used often, except for by people who tend to try to solo things. Because right now, I think Risk Runner is the best weapon to go into 0 Hour with soloing.
I'll have to keep that in mind. I was using Arbalist, I know, because it's got the energy pop.
Right. A normal sniper can take out your orange sniper shanks with 2 shots. Doesn't have to be like a power sniper or anything. But either Thunderlord or Risk Runner will help burst through all of your arc shields really fast.
Yeah, that makes sense. And with the output of the input/output protection. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
It is very nice. My number 2 is a throwback to D1. It was the weapon that got me interested in actually playing PvP. And that would be the 1,000-yard stare. It was a legendary sniper rifle. And it was everywhere in PvP.
Yes, it was.
It was absolutely everywhere, but I actually felt like I could do some major damage with it because it was so steady and the flinch was almost non-existent on it for a sniper.
It was very similar. The original Her Supremacy was very similar, I think, to that.
Yes. Yep. That one definitely got me interested in watching Crucible videos and listening to Crucible radio. I think I watched a lot of True Vanguard when I was first learning how to play in Crucible, and it was 1,000-yard stare is what I would take in there. That and my number 1.
Yeah.
Just, I wish snipers were in the same place. There's a few that you can use that are okay, but they just don't feel the same right now.
Yeah, I don't even... I think I technically have a sniper on my character at the moment, but I think that's just by accident. Like, whereas in D1, it was a staple of my loadout. Like it just, yeah, it's they're not in the same, which is fine, which is 100% fine. It's just, it's a different style.
Right. I do have a Bite of the Fox that I really like to use, and
that's the Iron Banner one, right?
Whisper of the Worm. Correct.
Yeah.
There's also the
Whisper, yeah. I don't have that one, so.
That one's really nice.
It's super nice in Black Armory, let me tell you.
That's how people have been able to solo 0 Hour already, is they'll get it to proc the ammo regen.
Yeah.
The white nail perk.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that just brings back memories. The original white nail perk was so broken.
What was
so busted?
Was it Icebreaker that had the? It was the Icebreaker that had the auto refill.
Yeah. So like, Icebreaker would it was, and they were constantly toying with that particular one, just simply because,
right?
Anyway, for obvious reasons.
Broken in trials.
Yeah, it was not conducive to a lot of things in PvP, because the problem is it was special ammo, and special ammo was limited. And so then when you pulled it out and you had a full clip, because it didn't use your ammo. And so that was one of the first iterations of fixing that they did, was you had to have special ammo. You know, and so like there was a lot of Icebreaker. It was an exotic. I'm just going to leave it there. Like it did its job. It broke the game.
I just remember sitting in the well right before the Crota room and sniping the snot out of that.
Oh man, you want to talk about pulling that? It's Fogoth and Valista Arc. Like you could easily, I mean, like if you had patience, you could solo all of that. You know, before that was a huge thing. But like, oh my gosh, Fogoth and Valis, because Valis had there were so many hiding rooms on those two, and but yeah, with Icebreaker, I mean, you could do Vault, you could do through the Templar's Well. You just do the sit up on the corner. Like there were so many strategies that were so dependent on the Icebreaker's actual mechanics. That were just, it was just fun. But yeah, but snipers in general, I definitely, because like we had No Land Beyond as well, which was just, you guys want to talk about a troll weapon
or a sentimental weapon?
Yeah,
takes us to number 1, so Blue. So we're lamenting about snipers, we're lamenting about scouts. Those are your 2 longest range ones. What are you going to put as
my number one? I will be 100% honest. I don't have. Again, it's another one that I know it's kind of a cop out, but I don't really have a particular one that's my favorite. But bows, I really, really am a huge fan of the versatility that they introduced with the bow archetype. You know, I did just get Wishender, which Green was making fun of me because I don't think I've taken it off since I've gotten it. Now, granted, I've only been running Dreaming City because I'm trying to catch all the eggs. I don't know why that can't. Yeah, I don't know why I said that. But so like, Wishender definitely, like the perks on Wishender are a lot of fun. But like I have a subtle calamity. There's arsenic bites that are out there that have, I mean, the random rolls just make it really, really interesting as well. But I think, and this is Beard and I were talking about this before we started recording, I think the versatility that bows bring to at least the meta for PvE, it's just, I don't think it can be stated enough. Like it's that nice little section between what you get with a sniper and then the panic weapon of, oh god, they're rushing. You can still not, you can, with the same weapon, you can survive much easier. You don't have to like be a decent no-scoper in order to survive it, which is just nice. Yeah, Trinity Goal. Yeah, Trinity Gale is a lot of fun. I remember when I got that actually while that was one of the extra exotics that I got while I was chasing Last Word.
I can't get the hang of Trinity Ghoul. I don't like it's since it's a 3-shot.
Yeah,
it's very situational. For
it's
me.
very
It's
touchy. Like I don't run it mostly because I kind of because as most of you probably know, I run a lot of things without sound, and it is not conducive to panics. Like, you have to be very careful about where you place your shots with Trinity, and me going is not placing shots well. I'll be completely brutally honest with myself on that. Whereas Wish Ender and stuff like that, there it's a little bit, you just have a little bit more control.
Oh, yeah. And now that they have explosive heads and stuff like that,
it's so much fun.
You get your Firefly.
It's so much fun.
Form.
I got a bow with a Firefly on it the other day, I think, and I was like, oh, but I just masterworked the other one.
You can have a couple of them that have like explosive head.
Oh God,
and I'm like,
oh, that's so.
I'm like, if I will be honest though, if I get a bow that has explosive and dragonfly, I probably will just be like, I'm done. You can keep all the weapons, you can just keep them. I have what I've been looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they tend to cancel each other out.
Yeah, I know.
Explosive head kills,
right?
Not
yeah,
the dragonfly.
It
doesn't trigger.
I'm trying to remember. There was a scout in D1 that did that, and it was the most annoying thing because there's an art form to Firefly, and it was like it would always cancel the proc out, and it's like, no, I need that for the ads that I was gonna kill with it. So, oh my gosh, that brings back tantrums.
That sounds about right. Beard, number 1 for you.
There is only one choice. Only one. Just like Highlander, there can only be one.
Is it a sword?
No, it is not a sword. It is not a sword. But funny enough, it deals with a group of individuals that would probably enjoy swords quite a bit. Except not really. I mean, they might have been knights in some regard. Anyway, Black Armory introduced quite a few awesome things.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one weapon in particular that will definitely stand out in the annals of time and all things that are toasty. Jotun,
the auto-aim bot.
It is so dang versatile. Yeah. It is unbelievable.
Well, if I had a laser for a hand, it would be kind of versatile too.
I mean, sure, but I'm just saying, since you can't have a laser for a hand, you can at least have Jotun. And that's basically the complete and utter impetus behind the thing.
You're shooting flying, flaming toast at people, and it tracks you. Or tracks.
I remember when I got killed for the first time by it. I was like, "What what just happened?"
Now, what is, of course, interesting from a story standpoint is the way, of course, that it is kind of put together or posed to us. Mm-hmm. It is a Golden Age fusion rifle. And at that point, it makes me wonder why they had such advanced equipment at that point. That they were able to put that thing together. So just kind of shows you the whole, I think, implication of how good of a piece of equipment and an advancement the Obsidian Accelerator kind of is. But dang.
So, Beard,
just dang.
I got a story for you. How that came to be. Okay, what? So back in Black Armory, after Ada was first made, her mother was trying to teach her how to cook. And so she started with the most basic thing you could possibly get.
Toast. They didn't...
But Ada didn't quite get it. She held the toaster up and charged it herself.
We need a face cam for Beard's reaction.
And then that flying, flaming piece of toast went and set the room on fire. And it wasn't a creature of the night that broke into the Black Armory labs that caused them to run. It was Ada. Ada did it all along. She set the wall on fire and bursted through that flaming toast that just created,
it was me all along.
It was me.
And Beer just leaves.
No,
Beer just leaves. Beep, beep.
That story's dumb. What else do you want me to say? That story's dumb.
It's just so funny because it looks like a toaster.
I mean, I can also, being of course an anime fan and whatnot, I'm just imagining the chibi version of Henriette and Ada, like standing there, and she's trying to figure out how a toaster works, and she's like shaking it up and down, like, what is this? I don't understand. And then all of a sudden, like, the darkness comes, and they're like, this is how you work a toaster, stupid. And it just goes from there. Like, oh, Lord.
Ada possessed by an ancient family demon type thing.
I'm not even thinking that. Like, all of a sudden, the darkness actually, actually pops up, and it's like, look, let me tell you about sword logic and how this all works. Because you not understanding how a toaster works is going to be down the first path of you failing. So let me go ahead and fix that for you.
Oh my gosh.
I just...
I made myself cry.
What have you done?
Made myself cry.
I'm just, laugh crying. Oh, man. My number one is so not fun compared to Jotun. I feel like I've accidentally,
Well, you know what? That should say everything about you, Blue. You're Blue. You know what? Blue, too. Because you know what? Blue isn't fun either. I'm on this podcast with a couple of unfun people. This is what happens to me.
Huh?
Unfun people. This is why I hang out with you, because I absolutely love to be miserable.
Yeah, that's okay. We love you anyway.
All right.
Right.
I don't know what's wrong with you that you do, but okay.
Nice. But Maida is my number one, and I don't think that's a huge surprise to anybody who's played with me. Whether it was in D1 or D2, Maida is kind of my go-to for... I do tend to do a lot of gameplay with, Blue, especially in Gambit. I'm a sentry. I have to keep eyes out for invaders, and so Maida is probably my favorite tool to do that, because not only do I keep my radar up, but I can also ping and mark people as they're coming in. So Maida is something that I really enjoyed in D1. I had forgotten how to get it in D2 when I switched to PS4 for some reason. And I was just like, God, I've gotten through all these exotics, all the random drops. Why hasn't a Maida dropped for me? Oh, duh, I didn't do the stinking world quest, but I have my Maida on PS4 now, and life is good again. But, also Rans for you two. Are there any, also on your, lower list of weapons that you were really almost made the top 3 but not quite?
I mean, I gotta just be frank, anything that is the Black Armory weapons, I barely use anything else. Drifter has some pretty interesting equipment that he can give you. I definitely have enjoyed using spare rations, but nothing compares to, at least in my mind, the Black Armory equipment. It's just been that good, and it's just been way too versatile to use around just anything, really. Raid, strikes, patrols, whatever. So when I'm able to do any activities, just anything that is Black Armory.
Let me ask you this. What is your current go-to loadout right now?
Well, after getting Outbreak, at the moment, it's pretty well Outbreak, and I'll flip back and forth between either Kindled Orchid, Tatara Gaze, or Arsenic Bite, just depending on which situation I have. For the record, I have the Wrath Majestic on my Arsenic Bite, at least. But I wish I could use the No Turning Back has the Black Armory skin. The Aim is True one. I wish I could carry that over to it.
Okay.
That would be freaking great if I could.
power weapon.
And then it's basically Hammerhead.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see a need to use much of anything else, quite frankly.
Right.
For PvP or PvE, it is just a far too versatile piece of equipment. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll switch it up and go to like Acantha. I have a very good Acantha with backup mag, rangefinder, and Rampage that I use now and again. But for the most part, it's basically Hammerhead. Before that, though, it was pretty well like Spiteful Fang, Jotun, and Hammerhead. That was like my go-to builds almost all the time.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. Blue, what is your also Rans, and then what is your current go-to loadout?
To be honest, like there's a couple swords that I really like, which is funny given that I was just talking about being a ranged player. The Quick Fang from Vice was a really fun one, and then Black Talon is a lot of fun. I really like Black Talon. As far as like my I don't really have a go-to. Here, let me pull up. I'm right now for weapons. I am running Wishender, and then I have Oxygen SR3, and then Zenobia D as a rocket launcher. Mm-hmm. I managed to snag one with an auto-loading and a cluster bomb perk. So that thing, you want to talk about the perfect panic power weapon? I can't speak more highly of that particular rocket launcher. I love that little thing. And so yeah, like I mean, for me though, it's really just kind of how I'm feeling, which I know is not like super helpful. I've been playing a lot with Ace Spades recently, mostly because I like things that go boom.
Yeah, I think that's the lesson of learning about blue.
Yeah,
Blue
I
likes exploding.
I like
things
that go boom.
Says the class that doesn't play Nova Bomb.
Yeah, it does explain why when I finally got Blade Barrage, it kind of made sense why Green was like, you need to get this, 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 because things go boom.
He finally got.
I did.
That,
I did.
the way.
I finally got Blade Barrage, and then I don't even remember how I got the shards. I think I did. I don't know if I pulled that from Azure and I don't even remember.
You pulled it from somewhere, and then I told you to immediately go run a blind.
Yeah.
Ball.
So yeah, it was that's been a lot of fun. I mean, I with PvE being my primary focus, I do run a lot of Thorn also, just because that hand cannon in PvE is just so much fun. I now am understanding that I need to start playing with Risk Runner, so I'll start working my way through getting used to that weapon. But I mean,
if you ever get the Catalyst as a side note, it goes very quickly.
Yes.
It goes very quickly, and it's super, super nice.
Yeah, and I mean, and again, it's just like I don't really have like a static. I guess Oxygen would probably be
or Nameless
Mint. Yeah, like I usually
use that constantly.
Oh yeah, I love that thing. I usually have a scout rifle, at least in some capacity on my like active loadout. But yeah, that's probably as close to a standard loadout for me.
Mm-hmm. My also ran only includes one weapon right now, and that is Black Talon, because that I feel like a warlock slightly when I use it, which is
I just like the fact that you can frisbee things.
Right, I keep my hunter jump, which is preferable.
It's frisbee golf,
and then I can throw things around the corner and piss everybody off. Because that's what Black Talon does, and I just got it last week.
Oh, did you?
It's been one of the hardest. Yeah, it's been one of the hardest exotics for me to get for some reason.
So another funny story of why green hates blue, is that
I don't hate. Blue.
Wasn't that the one that you were like, you really need to try this out, and then I got it, I got it, and I was like, oh, okay, it's just a sword. I can't remember exactly how that one worked. I thought you already had it though.
I've been Lux uses it constantly in PvP, And when we do private matches, he always gets heavy because he's really good at controlling heavy. So I've had it used on me quite a bit.
Yeah,
and I just wanted to have it. And once I did get it, I went into Crucible and understood why he uses it and doesn't put on anything else.
It's frisbee golf.
It is. It's also really good for PvE too. Like if you have anything with void shields, it will just wreck them.
I've used it a couple times with.
Granted, that's why they have Hammerhead.
Yep, that actually takes me to
is Hammerhead void?
My normal. It is.
Hammerhead's void.
It takes me to my normal loadout, which is right now, and it has been for probably 4 or 5 months now, is Dustrock Blues, Trust, and Hammerhead. It's kind of what?
It's the
PvP.
What was I going to say? You've got the trifecta of the LMGs that you have available to you, or at least had, because you have Thunderlord that of course is Arc, but then it's until you get to what is it, Delirium 21%, and then you get another Arc. And then the Void one is Hammerhead, and then the Solar one is Avalanche.
Right, which Avalanche...
And
I don't like the way that Avalanche and Delirium fire, personally.
Not at all. Not at all. There's such a difference between them and Hammerhead, it's not even funny.
It almost feels like an SMG in an LMG form.
Right.
They move around too much. Hammerhead has a nice heavy kick that is predictable. Yep. Same thing with Thunderlord. It fires a lot faster, but it's a predictable kick up. But,
right.
Yeah. I love my Dustrock. I am such a jerk face in Crucible with Dustrock. I will fully admit that if anybody has special on the other team and they get killed, I am going to have a heyday that match. Because I will pick it up and continue to run with them.
I'm starting to be that guy that uses on PC Tatara Gaze and Last Word, because I got one with Snapshot and Kill Clip, and it is ridiculous.
I tell you what, Last Word is great at shutting down shotgunners.
Yeah, it is.
It's so good at shutting down shotgun, because all you have to do is fan that. Oh man, it just takes everything down. It annoys the crap out of me because I do 1v1s quite a bit, and there's one particular person that I 1v1 that almost always uses Last Word against me because he knows I'm going to use Trust and Dustrock, and he can shut me down almost probably 7 times out of 10. It's rough, but I don't know. It's good times. Weapons, Destiny weapons they're still fun, and there's still a decent variety of things for different types of playstyles, obviously, because the three of us definitely do not play the same type of content.
I mean, I'm a warlock. They're not.
I mean... 2
people in this chat are wrong. 1 person is right.
I know I'm right.
I mean, we're not talking about your split personality, Beard. It's fine. You don't have to bring that about. I don't know what
split personality you're talking about. I mean, other than the fact that I do have what? No, I don't. I'm kidding. No, I don't.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the 3 of us have very different play styles. Blue is definitely a long range game. Beard, you sound like you do kind of a mixture between the 2.
I'm very much a mid-range combatant, mostly because I tend to hang closer by to the groups, and then when I see the groups, I just blow them up with Nova Bombs. Pretty much my life. It's basically my life.
I certainly like to get up close and personal, especially in Crucible, so it's...
Never would have guessed my shotgun.
I mean, you've never played against me. You've yet to come back to PS4.
Yes, I have.
You've played against me once.
Yeah.
Once.
Well, don't tell me that I haven't.
That doesn't... I, literally had nothing when you did that, too. That was when I first got on PlayStation.
It's okay. Look, you filled in the role fine. You took up my spot okay. I don't want to embarrass you.
Oh, really? Oh, this is going to turn into an actual... This is going to be streamed, sir. We're going to have a 1v1 on PlayStation, let me tell you.
Let me put it this way. If I ever decide to come back to PlayStation, No, I know I'll end up having a good time.
Yeah.
I literally cannot because of
the
the
frames.
30 FPS and everything. Like, that absolutely kills it.
Yep.
If they would have allowed it 60 FPS on a Pro, I would have been out there. I would have bought it. And I would have been fine. I would not have switched. But now if they come out with the PS5 and they're like 60 FPS on the PS5, I'll be like, fine, cool, let's do this.
Yeah, I would not mind that. I would welcome the challenge.
I'm still sitting here using a PlayStation controller on PC, and I still outgun a lot of people on PC to begin with. So I don't know.
It makes a big difference.
It does. It does. I won't say that I'm doing my my old like 6 and 8 no's, but I'm still pulling good numbers. I'm still positive KD.
Nice. So, next week we're going to stick with the Destiny themed things for a little while longer. The community has spoken, and next week we're going to do our favorite Destiny missions, I believe is what the topic is.
Story missions.
So, story mission or just mission in general?
Story missions.
Okay, so that does not include raids or strikes or specialty missions. Or I
want
to clarify before we get there.
I don't know. I say story missions. I think it's missions. I kind of
Sword of Crota is going to be in there.
Sword of Crota.
Like,
which one? There was a couple.
That's a no. The original one.
Oh,
yeah. In the front.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. Like that's
yeah, that's totally in there.
Maybe I'll change it now, but like that's a what I would consider a story mission.
I think you could probably make the argument pretty strongly that any of them are story missions. Right. They're not campaign missions.
Let's say no raids qualify that.
Yeah, no. This is like missions.
We'll just no strikes.
No strikes.
So no strikes, no raids. Specialty missions. What about
adventures?
This like 0 hour and the subclass missions and stuff like that. Are you going to still keep those in there?
I would
think
say
quests?
Yes, because quite frankly, they're like. Quests would be fine because they're either one-offs or something
that's fair,
similar.
Yeah.
They have story implications and whatnot behind them, so I would say yes. But I think story missions and anything basically not in a strike and not in a raid, I think is a very fair assessment to what we're looking for next week, at least in my opinion.
I think that's good. So,
somebody's got to make up the rules on this crap.
No, I'm glad we laid them out early, because we're sitting here right before this recording starts going, wait, which
is it D1 or just D1 or the D2s as well?
It's like, which one are we doing?
I don't know. Yeah. I'll make an offer you can't refuse.
Oh my. But, thank you all for joining us for Top 3. I don't know why I'm doing this voice, but we're doing it right now, and we're going to end the show on this voice. So, thank you for joining us. Remember, everybody loves a list. And that is the most awkward ending I have ever done for that episode, or any episode.